So this is the Karloff Frankenstein mold. I'm actually casting one right now. So right now I am brushing in latex. I'm brushing it into the face. I poured a bunch in there. I'm just going to work it in all the little areas, and then I'm going to pour the excess back into the bucket. Whoa, you're focused. All right, now that they're both painted in with latex, I'm going to now spray some water in there to pop some of the bubbles. Okay, the mold pieces are strapped together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chip brush, and I'm going to I like to just fill in that seam, make sure that it has latex covering it. So I'm going to do that and put the camera down. So now, I'm not going to dwell. I don't even have enough latex on hand to fill this mold and let it dwell. So I'm just going to do a slush cast. So I'm just going to fill this with some latex about halfway, slush it around and pour it right out and let it drain. I moved the mold to this table. So I poured latex in, I slushed it around, I drained it. So now I have, and it's drained already, so it's just drying, and it looks like it's already getting nice and it's setting already. This is great. So I should be able, and I'm not going to pour another layer of latex in that until it's set a little bit more, but it's drying pretty quick. This is great. So the first coat was setting up pretty quick, so this is great. So I have some more latex in the mold, and as you can see, I've been slushing it around, covering, because I don't have enough to fill the mold. So I'm slushing it around. I'm going to drain it now and let that dry. This latex is really working great today. It's really setting up quick. Nice. Drying is pretty good, but I think I'm going to put one more pour of latex in this mold, and that should be enough. I think I have 3 in there now, but I like a nice thick mask, so I'm going to do one more right now. So I just poured some latex in, and since I don't have enough to fill the mold, I'm going to slosh it around. As you can see, I wear my nicest clothing when I'm working with latex stains. So I'm moving this mold around, moving the latex to the edge so I can get it all around before I drain it. Just going to be really careful. It dripped a little bit on my hand, no big deal. It happens. And then after I do this and cover everything, I will drain it back into the bucket. Looks like we are getting pretty dry in there. Still looks a little bit white, but the outer spot here is getting nice and golden, so I think we should be ready to take this out of the mold maybe later today or early tomorrow. All right, this Frankenstein monster, Karloff monster, is done. I just powdered. I'm just moving some more powder around here, and I'm going to take him out of the mold. All right, we're going to take the monster out of the mold. Hopefully the camera won't fall over because I have it leaning up against something. All right. Hopefully I got a good pull out of this. Whoa. Whoa. And there goes the camera. There we go, we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Put this back half of the mold on the floor. All right, now, here we go. Okay. And gently release him. All right. Don't want the camera to fall down, the phone to fall down again. Good so far. Everything got into all the crevices, and he's about to come out. All right, and there he is. It's alive! Looks good to me. All right. All right, now that he's out of the mold, what I'm going to do is, because he needs to cure, I took a piece of this is like from Home Depot, the foam, which I cut, sponge rubber, which I cut into a piece, and I put it on to fit the top of his head, so it'll keep the flat head flat. And now I have polyfill, which I got, you can get on Amazon. It's not expensive, and I'm stuffing the mask with the polyfill because I want to leave it out for 24 hours to air cure, but I want it to keep its shape. I don't want it to be floppy. Even though it's 4 coats thick, I want it to keep its shape so it cures in the shape I want it to. So that should be good, I think. Whoa. Yes. All right, I'll take my motorcycle oil can thingy, and I'll put, so the polyfoam, the foam rubber, the Home Depot upholstery foam is, let me put a light on here, it'll look better. Off on the side. Okay. So he's out of the mold. He's gonna, this is too much light. That's better. All right, so he's gotta stay out for like 24 hours and let him cure. I have 3, I'm actually working on, I'm actually working on 3 Karloff monsters here. But right now I'm at the stage where I trimmed, and now I'm going to use this Dremel, and I'm going to trim down the edges here so I get a nice edge. What I love about this thing is the felt tip. Can you see that? Too much light? That's better. These edges are not horrible, but with the Dremel, I'll be able to bring them down. So. Look how nice that, what a difference. So I'm going to do all 3 of these right now, fix up the edges. So I'm about ready to paint. I'm all set up. Got the mask. Now for this particular mask, the main flesh color, I'm using, this is paint from Motion Picture Studios, Nightshades. This is called Infected, and also I mix it with Fright White, and I basically go 7 milliliters of Infected and 6 milliliters of Fright White to make the shade I like, and I have it already mixed in the cup. I already weighed it out, so now I'm going to mix it and add a little bit of water because it's a little too thick. All right, and now I'm going to begin painting. And since this is very boring, I'm going to turn the phone off now. All right, got a little bit of paint on there. It's starting to get some color. I'm going to add some more. All right, now we're getting nice and covered. I'm not going to paint where the hair is going to go. I'm going to paint that black because there's no sense in putting flesh color where there's going to be hair. In fact, putting black paint where the hair is going to be is going to help hide any places where maybe I don't put the hair on thick enough. All right, well these 3 all have their base colors put on them. So I'm gonna let that dry a little longer, then we're gonna move on. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I mixed up some a black acrylic paint, very watery, nothing thick. And I'm gonna basically paint black watery acrylic paint on these masks. Just put it on really quickly. And I'm gonna basically stain it so I get it in all the texture and grooves. And then I'm gonna wipe a lot of it off and just leave the black stain in those areas. I really like that effect. It has like almost like a dirty, I don't know, like an organic type of filthy, dirty look. It doesn't look so nice and crisp and smooth and clean. Okay, so I just did this one, and it's completely covered in watery black paint. And now I'm going to remove a lot of the paint, and I'll show you what I got after I do that. See, as you can see, I'm using a paper towel, and I'm just blotting some areas up, leaving some of the stain. I'm leaving some of it on there because I like this great dirty look. It's really cool. Okay, so the one on the left is done, and just to show you the difference, the only difference between these two masks is this one I did the watery black wash and wiped it off, and this one I haven't yet. And if you can, it just adds, I think, so much character to the, you know, and it still has a lot of work to go on the painting, but, and it's still wet, but I just love, let me get this sharper here. I just love the way, compare like the mouth and all that, to just, you know, it's just very nice and smooth. All the detail, all the texture I sculpted in comes out so much more. I just think it's such a cool looking effect. So I'm gonna do the other two now. Okay, so these are all stained now and they're drying. And I just think they look so cool with that stain on them. You know, it looks better in person, not in this video. But anyway, these are gonna dry. I still have a lot of painting to go. All right, so where we are now is, I painted the tops of the masks black, where the hair is gonna go. I painted the bolts and the clamps and the stitches. Painted them white first and let that dry. Then I did the metallic silver on top, so you can see. They look better like that. And I painted some light gray in the eyes to start those off. Next step is to paint the eyes. Behind these three masks, I have the original, that's the finished mask. That's the master with the hair. That's how these are gonna look when they're done. So I still have to paint the eyes, and I'm gonna paint the eyelids and the eye bags a little bit darker too. All right, these guys are ready for hairing. They are completed. I painted the eyes, and after I painted them, I applied some epoxy to give them that nice permanent shine. So, as you can see here. So, they're gonna look like him after I'm done with the hairing. So, on to hairing. It is finally time to hair these masks and be done with this Karloff monster mask already. So I have these three I'm going to hair. I'm just going to do one at a time because I can't hair three masks at once. So I use Mod Podge for gluing the hair on. I like this stuff because it dries really slowly, so I don't have to rush. Basically, I let it dry overnight. So I have my hair, which I get from a place called the Woolery in Kentucky. And this is the black hair that I'll be using. And it is alpaca roving. That's the type of hair. Thewoolery.com. Check it out. They're very helpful. So I have my Mod Podge, I have a brush, my scissors, and my masks. All right, so I have some hair that I cut, and my Mod Podge. And let me straighten this camera out. Okay. And I got a little bit of Mod Podge in a cup and a brush. So, I mean, this is the way I hair a mask. There's not that much information online that I could ever find, so I kind of had to take what I saw and do it the way that works best for me. So, And I always start at the back of the head, and I paint the Mod Podge basically starting at the bottom here. Just gonna paint a bunch, just painting a stripe on the bottom, the nape of the neck. And I dripped a little bit, I'll just wipe it off. Whatever. It dries clear anyway, so. Anyway, I'm painting that on. Good. All right. Now, I'm going to take some hair and I'm going to separate it. So I don't want to put too much on at once because I need to have just enough to cover the area where I put the glue. And I'll spread it out like that. Let me turn this so you can see that. And I'm just going to do that for the entire length of the area where I painted. Herring masks is something I don't really look forward to because it's time consuming, but it's worth it because, you know, hair, some masks characters need hair. I mean, I could do a Frankenstein monster that has no hair, like he's burned at the end of Bride of Frankenstein, and put a little bit of singed hair on him, but I like the classic Frankenstein monster with a full head of hair. So I'm putting that on. Hair there. A little bit more. There. So that is one bit. Now, let me make the camera a little closer here. I'm now going to paint glue on top of the edge, like a, 1/4 of an inch. Because what I placed on there, just putting it onto the wet stripe of glue, is not going to hold. That's just kind of to hold it in place. This is going to hold the hair. It's gluing the hair to the latex. This is going to really adhere it. And it's time consuming. This could probably take me to do this head maybe an hour easily, if not longer. And I have to do 3 of these things. Okay, another update. So as you can see, I've done the front of the head, the hair going this way, even though the back of the hair is going this way. And now I'm working my way backwards. Let me go behind here. So now I'm starting putting hair here and I'm working my way back because on the monster, I want his hair on top to be flat going forward. So I'm going to continue this hair, laying it down, going backwards till I get to here. This will be where the hair, I guess, hairline is, where this, right when at the back of the head, the hair here will be combed forward, but everything else will go down. It'll make sense when it's all done. So right now, that's where he is. All right, well, this guy's completely haired. Now, obviously, he looks like he's a hippie because he's got so much hair on his head. But when the glue is dry tomorrow, overnight, I will, and of course it's got this big, bunch of glue right there. But it's gonna look a lot different when I'm all done with it tomorrow. Anyway, I have to let it dry now. Anyway, it's early in the morning. The glue is dried, it's overnight, so the hair is dried. Now all this hair obviously looks ridiculous. So I'm going to go now and remove all the hair that isn't glued in. I put a lot of hair on this thing and the glue didn't get everything. So I'm going to gently go with my hand and gently move my fingers through it, and all the hair that isn't attached will just come off. Then I will style the hair and model it, and I have my hairspray and use a little bit of Vaseline for the tips on the front of the hair here. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, so now, took me a few minutes, but I just basically, move my hands through the hair and pulled out all the hair that wasn't glued on. Now he looks like he's, at the beach. So now, all I have to do is model, style the hair and push it down and use some hairspray and everything, which I'm going to do now. All right, so move this back a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is very simple. It's going to basically give him a hairstyle, haircut, whatever. So, I'm just going to, the hair on the front obviously goes forward. I don't have to cut some hair off, and model it. So hey, see, there's still some hair that's coming loose that wasn't glued on, right? Okay. See, already it's starting to look better because it's not all, poofy and everything. But I'm going to do this for a few minutes to get the hair flatter. Right now I'm going to go through, I'm still going to try to get all this, these little, you can't see them, but lots of little hairs that are just, I don't want any hair on this thing that isn't glued on, so I'm going to go through with my fingers and any other excess hair that isn't attached, I'm just going to get rid of. Okay, so there he is. All the excess hair has been removed, and I flattened the hair with my hand, so he looks pretty good. Let me go around here. But now, move this light. He looks pretty good, except now I just have to put some hairspray on it. Because it's still very, if I blow on this thing, it does that. And I want it to be a lot stiffer. So I'm going to hairspray it now and style it some more. And there he is. He's all done. I'll show you the hair. So used a little bit of Vaseline to get these tips to stay down and clump them up like that. Anyway, now all I have to do is we'll let the hairspray dry a little bit more, and I have to trim a lot of this excess. I don't need that much neck. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video.